fantastic Sink Your Teeth.
Hello.
You're here to talk about our obsessions, and your obsession to get away from the hurly-burly world of being on the road is your garden, which I can see in the background just behind you. So
Yeah.
is this a long-term obsession, or is this something that's kind of new?
It's been the last few years, really. I mean, I only moved here a year ago, and that's the first time I've had my own proper garden and my own garden. You know, when I came here, it was all lawn, and I knew that I wanted to put loads and loads of flowers in. I've always really liked flowers, so in fact, I was nearly a florist. I was training to be a florist when Sink Your Teeth started.
Oh, really?
So I had to choose between the two.
Yeah.
Music wins every time. Yeah.
Well, I guess you've kind of got a compromise because you have the garden and the band, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's been so great during lockdown to really be able to get stuck in. I get stuck in anyway, but it's just been nice to bond with it after not being here for very long.
So what's it like about garden? Is it a creative thing, or is it a spiritual thing, or is it just being in touch with nature?
It's all three of those things, yeah. I'd say, I don't know. Yeah, all three of those things. It really calms me. Sometimes my head feels a bit like there's loads of noise going on in it, and when I'm out there, I'm in complete silence, and it's mindfulness really. I just kind of focus on it, and when I go to bed, I'll think about colour schemes and things like that and what to do. And it just takes me away from other things really.
So it's very coordinated in the garden. I can see some yellows and pinks there. Yeah.
No, it's not coordinated. It's not coordinated. No, I'm too impatient for it to be coordinated. I'd like to have a scheme or something, or know what's going to come up, but I'll go out and buy plants on a whim and chuck them in, and then forget what colours I've put where. So it's yeah, I'm a bit obsessed with buying plants.
So what I mean, with plants, you buy them because they're aesthetic, or do you buy them because it would actually be good for the garden? Or
I'm really enjoying the insect and the birds. Watching them in lockdown was lovely. I feel like I've really bonded with them. But aesthetics usually, I'm not. I don't have many vegetables, for example. So I'm more into. I like flowers and colours, bright colours, and natural looking stuff, like wild stuff.
oh, is it like wildflowers then, more than
Some of it, yeah, but also kind of cut flowers, because I used to really enjoy flower arranging. I might be debunking any myths that if people thought I had even a little bit of coolness about me.
It's far more cool. It's far more interesting. So what flowers do you have in the garden?
Oh, loads. I've got dahlias, I've got roses, foxgloves, zinnia, agapanthus, echinacea, yeah, and lupins. Oh, like Rebecca, hydrangeas. Yeah.
I don't know you could grow echinacea here.
Yeah. It's not quite out yet, but it's yeah. I think you have the bulb, or the root is the thing that you eat to prevent colds or what have you.
It has a purple flower, I think, doesn't it? Or is it purple?
Yes, I think you can get all different colours, but I think it's got a big black centre, and then the petals kind of go down a bit like rabbit ears when they're back. That's how I think of it anyway.
So when you say you got a relationship with insects and birds, are you planting plants to attract certain insects and birds?
I'm aware that you have to have a lot of variety for different types of insects, because some of them, their tongues can't get down like the tubes of a foxglove, for example. So ones that are really nice and open, ones with short tongues like that, and so yeah, I'm aware that you need lots of different shapes, and that suits me fine. So it suits both me and the insects.
So what kind of insects are you getting? I mean, obviously you'd be getting like bees and things, but is it quite a wide range?
Not that wide. I haven't seen any dragonflies yet. We haven't got any pond or anything like that in the garden, but we've seen some butterflies, and the birds are what we've been really enjoying. We've got some blackbirds that are just so tame and so they've got personalities. It's really lovely.
And the song of a blackbird is one of the greatest sounds on the planet, isn't it?
Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just super exotic. I mean, it's interesting with nature, I always think, because people always think nature is something that happens somewhere else. You know, Africa's got lions and giraffes, which are amazing. But when you look in your own back garden, you've got things that are equally amazing, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's and they're so cute as well. I'm totally not scared of bees these days. You know, I can be amongst bees, and yeah, I'm not scared of them at all. And I haven't seen many wasps actually, which is good because I don't like wasps.
Yeah, well, that's more September is their time, isn't it? When they're a bit giddy and drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and they get in your beer, which is not good.
And they get a bit pissed off, a bit like you lot of young blokes on a Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're on the Stella.
So what's your favourite flower? That little list there. I mean, for me personally, I've always liked foxgloves because something really exotic about a foxglove, and
Yeah.
I like the flowers on roses, but I don't actually like rose bushes very much. So, I mean, do
No,
you
'cause
have
they're
like
gorgeous.
strong opinions on different types of flowers?
Well, there are some I don't like I don't like gerberas, but I don't know why, because you know they're your typical flower shape. But I guess I like foxgloves as well because they are a bit different, aren't they? They come in beautiful colours and they're tall. I like spiky things and things that move and things that are free flowing kind of thing. Nothing that's too compact. But there's also a blue kind of thistle-y thing out in the garden at the moment, which I'm really loving. It's like a metallic blue, silvery blue, and the bees absolutely adore that. So I quite like that. I forget what it's called though. It's Eryngrium, I think.
Are
Blue
they all
spiky.
British plants, or are some of these from other countries? Are they imports?
Oh, I don't know. I think they're probably mainly British. I don't know actually. I don't think I know enough about them.
No, I didn't. We've not got you here to be an expert because you could be obsessed with something without knowing any of the backstory. I was just actually quite interested. Yeah.
All right, yeah, no, I think they're ones that you can get easily in a garden centre. You know, they're typical cut flowers, really. Yeah.
Do you have any buddleia? Buddleia is my favourite flower.
I do, and it's like a kind of raspberry pink. They call it. It's like shocking, really bright pinks. I love bright colours and clashing them. Yeah, but it's only tiny because my garden's so new. Nothing's matured yet, and so in a few years it will look a lot better. You won't see the fence, and there'll be big trees and stuff. But nothing's had time to grow yet. So
If it's a normal buddleia, it'll be about 30 foot tall, about 3 years.
I know, yeah, we just had one removed at the end of the garden, and our neighbour's one, and it was huge, but the butterflies absolutely adore it.
Oh yeah, it has a name, doesn't it? Like the butterflies, something.
It's called a butterfly bush. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're all over it, aren't they?
Yeah, and hoverflies as well. They like that too. So.
One of the weirdest things I think about buddleias is you don't often see them in people's gardens, but you always see them on railways, industrial wastelands. It's like this really beautiful flower that grows in really ugly places.
Yeah, like in supermarket car parks.
Yeah, you know,
yeah.
And if I go to somebody's garden, I very rarely see a buddleia in the garden, and I mean, you do see them, but they just seem to be happier growing out of a pile of bricks or a lot of older aspects.
Yeah, yeah. We had one growing out of the brick wall up there, so yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't in the middle of the garden. It kind of found its way to the one little industrial bit of the garden.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, an industrial plant. That's why I like it.
Yeah, well, I like the way when I live in Manchester, and there's only a few derelict bits left now, but this time of year they all go bright purple because of the buddleia. Yeah, and it's quite amazing how it beautifies the ugliness. So, where did you get your interest in plants from? Is this something you've always had?
I think it's my parents because they're really keen gardeners and got a really lovely garden. And you know, growing up, they'd take me to open gardens, which I was really bored with when I was little. But I think as I grew up, everything started to kind of subconsciously I was taking it in. So yeah, they're massive gardeners, and I speak to them a lot and take photos and send them to them a lot and say, look at this, and we're all really excited about it. And they helped me with that one, like digging the path and stuff like that.
Something very quintessentially English about loving a garden as well, isn't there?
Yeah, probably like the secret garden and stuff like that when you're little, and thinking about the nooks and crannies, and just your imagination going wild in the garden. Yeah.
And does it cross over into music at all? I mean, obviously you're not going to have a song called The Garden, although there is a great song called The Garden by another band, but the creative element of arranging the garden, putting the colours in your imagination, is that a way that you think about music when you're creating music? Is it using the same little channels in your head?
Probably. I've not really thought of it like that. I mean, sometimes I have, when Maria sent me an idea or worked on a song and sent it back, one of my favourite ways of listening to it is while I'm in the garden, and because when I'm looking at something and hearing it, it's like if you're doing something else at the same time as listening to it, you hear it better. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't know if I could apply it to actually creating music if there's any similarities. I might have to have a think about that. I don't know. I like sort of light and shade and dark against bright things, and maybe that comes out in some of the music. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is actually a pretty good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, and juxtapositions maybe a bit, but yeah, I don't know. Good question.
Do you have like a lawn or anything, or a patio?
The only lawn is there's a path. I don't know if you do that, you might be able to see.
Oh yeah, you can see from there. Yeah.
And there's a bit of patio at the front, and a pergola there that my dad built about 3 days after lockdown was eased a bit. And I've got a greenhouse as well for the tomatoes and growing seeds. But this is my kitchen, and so I can grow seeds quite well in here as well. So
Did you have a lot of house plants as well? Is that like a leftover from your florist interest?
I have a few, but they don't do as well. I'm not as keen as outside. I like them in the winter; they cheer the place up. But I'm not like obsessed with house plants like I am with flowers. I don't know why, but.
Do you sit in the garden much, or is your relaxation actually working in the garden?
Yeah, a bit of both. Like when I can work, when I can see the laptop, if it's now we've got a little bit of a roof on the pergola, I can actually see the laptop now, because sometimes the light is too much, isn't it, outside? Yeah, and I've written a little bit of music out in the garden, but I sit out there as much as I can because it's just so good for my head.
So where do you stand on weeds? I mean, to me, weeds are just all the flowers that aren't allowed in your garden. Or to you, are they?
Oh, aren't allowed in your garden.
Yeah.
And a weed is only a weed if you don't want it there. I mean, you can't really see my weeds because there's so many flowers. You can't tell which are weeds and which aren't. And I like that natural aspect. So I don't mind weeds. Don't like stinging nettles very much, but I can live with them. So I am a bit of a lazy gardener like that. I like planting things, so I'm not good at tidying.
And is you ever tempted just to throw a load of wildflower seeds in there and let it just go all completely?
I try and do that, and they never come up very easily. So a few have, maybe some poppies, but I mean the amount of seeds I've put down there, I probably picked them out or hoed them out thinking they're weeds when they were little. So that's why I let them grow these days.
What's the soil like there in Norfolk? Is it good for growing, or is it?
So yeah, it's mine's quite dry, which is good. So it doesn't get too wet or clayey. So I think it's well drained soil. Yeah, it's a north facing garden though, so it's not the sunniest, but it's all right.
So ultimately, what does your garden give to you?
Loads. I mean, yeah, especially over the last few months, every day of lockdown I was just thanking my lucky stars that I had a garden. It would be so different had it have been winter. It just gives me, it's literally the peace that it gives me in my head, and the calmness and the tranquility and the connection with nature and everything, and just being able to think and breathe and space. It's just, yeah, I love it.